All right, so this is for, I guess I should show you this. This is going to be for Monday the 24th and Tuesday the 25th. So that's, if you're absent one of those 2 days, that's what this video is for. What we ended up doing today is we are taking some notes on author's purpose. This should be review. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a sheet of paper and make it look like mine. I know you don't have your notebook, and that's fine. But you're going to make sure to get a sheet of paper. And at the very top, I'm going to write author's purpose on it. You can put page 27 on it as well, so you know that's the page number it needs to be taped to when you get here. But I'm going to kind of zoom into each of them. There's actually a fifth one on here that you can't see right now, but I will zoom into each of them and kind of talk through them. But you'll need to make sure these notes are taken. Okay? So the first one is persuade. Persuade is to convince. It's a personal opinion, and it could be considered like a review of some sort. So the example I used in class was when I make a purchase on Amazon. They have all the different types of reviews, or like a 5-star rating, or whatever that may be. And that's just an opinion. It's an opinion of that person, and they're trying to convince you based on their personal opinion of that to buy that specific whatever it is from Amazon. Okay? So that's persuade. Now, along with persuade, and it's a little bit different though, is we could have an argue section, and that's where there's two sides that are presented. There's biases on both sides. So maybe there's like a debate of some sort, like should we do this or should we do that? And one person says we should do it like this because that's their bias, and the other person says they should do it like that because that's their bias. But what makes it more of an argue stance there as well is that they have research to back up their bias, to back up their response. Okay? So that could just be kind of like a debate kind of thing. All right? The next one is inform. And again, make sure you're writing all this stuff down because you'll want to have this written down so you get credit for doing this. The next one is to inform. What that is to explain or tell about something. What this means is that it is unbiased. Unbiased is meaning it's just the facts. It doesn't have a bias to it. It doesn't have a personal, like, this is what I believe kind of thing to it. It's unbiased. What you will look here is like science and social studies. What you're learning about in there is just like for social studies, for instance, when you're learning about that, getting information, it's just informing you about ancient Egypt or about ancient India. There's no bias there. It's unbiased. It's just telling you the facts. Okay. The next one we have is entertain. Entertain, it's a lot of what we did last quarter. To tell a story. It has some sort of conflict in it. And an example for this could be narrative. Okay? We spent a lot of time doing that last time. And then the last one that I want you to look at, and this is going to go underneath argue, is this one. It says reflect. It means you're thinking about something. It's an experience. Maybe you're talking about an experience that you had, or like the author is talking about an experience they had. It could be a journal. It could be a diary entry. It could be like reflections that you do in class with us. That's to reflect. Okay? So at any point, if you need to pause and kind of go through that, you can. But I'm going to show you what you need to make sure that you have a picture of. This is what I just ended up going over. What I want you to see, though, is author's purpose. This is something you've used ever since elementary school. It's as easy as pie, persuade. I is inform and E is entertain. So we use that acronym. Author's purpose is as easy as pie. And then these other two are also added onto there for argue and reflect. Okay. So what you need to make sure that you do is you're going to take a picture of your final notes for this. And then you're going to send it to me in an email. That way I know that you did it and I can give you credit for it. And then when we get back to school, you will make sure to bring this into class and you will tape it onto page 27 in your notebook. Okay? All right, so you can go ahead and do that. And I'll go ahead and go on to the next thing. The next thing that we ended up doing today is we talked about text features. And that is on page 36 in your notebook. So I'm going to show you this so you can see it. So on page 36 in your notebook, there is a resource in there for you. And it basically shows you all the different nonfiction text features that you will see. So we have photograph, and it explains what that is. It gives you an example. Illustration, it's different. So photograph and illustration, they are both pictures, but it's a little bit different. So photograph is something that was taken with the camera. Illustration is something that was drawn by an artist. And so you'll see different examples. Then we also have captions. Captions explain what a photograph or illustration is about versus labels. Labels tell names of certain parts on a photograph or illustration. Okay, so see the differences there. Okay. Then we have graph, organizes and helps compare information in a visual way. Table organizes facts and numbers in a visual way, so it's easier for the reader. We have title, identifies the topic. Title page tells the book's title, author, illustrator. Table of contents tells names and chapters of what the page and the chapters can be found. Index tells what pages the readers can find certain topics. Glossary tells the definitions of some of the words found in the text. Heading divides the text into sections and explains what the sections will be about. Okay? And then on the back of that, we also have some other examples. We have map, shows where places or events are located. Diagram explains information on how something works in a visual way. Bold print shows what words are important or what words can be found in the glossary. Italic shows that a word is important. Bullet points makes lists easier to read and understand. And then fact box or sidebar gives interesting facts or extra information about a topic. Okay. And again, you'll see different examples over here to kind of see all of that. So if you need to come back to this particular part in the video to kind of see those explanations, you can. You can just pause it here when you are doing the other part of this activity. So here's this one you can pause if you want. Or if you need to pause on the other ones, I'll show you this one. So again, if you need to come back and pause on that particular one to see the differences between those different text features, you can. And then also here, if you need to come back to this one and pause so you can see those. But again, you guys have these in your notebook when you get back to school. Okay, so if you need to come back at any point and pause there, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to show you the next thing that you're going to do. All right, so what you're going to end up doing is you're going to get a piece, no, you will not get a piece of paper, sorry. If you have, this is the article we did today, but if you have access to a printer, you can actually print this if you would like. You do not have to, but you can. So I'm going to show you where you can look at this. Go to courses, reading, writing course, mentor text, and then you're going to click on this one right here, the text features Apollo 1024 and 1025 reading. So you're going to click on that. It's going to show up and it's going to look like what's going to be on my screen here in a second. It looks like this. You actually will get a copy of this. It's a yellow copy, and we'll actually put it on page 36 in your notebook. So when you get back to school, you want to make sure to get that. Or if you have access to a printer and you want to print this out and you do this activity at home, you can do that as well. All right. So essentially what I'm wanting you to do is I want you to look at this mentor text on this side and then also this side as well. And I want you to point out different text features that you see. And so essentially what you're going to be doing, if you're able to print it out, you're going to write on the piece of paper. So I'll show you on my screen with the paper that I have. So like if I'm here and I'm like, ooh, that's the title, what I would do is I would just write title right here. If you don't have access to a printer, how you can do this is on a separate sheet of paper. You can write title and put down what the title says. You can write down map, and put down that you saw a map. Okay, or describe what that particular text feature looks like, and that way I know that you found that, and we can just add that to your mentor text when you get back to school. Okay, so all I'm wanting you to do is I'm wanting you to point out different text features that you see. And I want you to think about how text features help the writer and the reader with the piece. Because as I'm looking at this particular, just this part, like to me, my eyes are drawn to lots of different things. It's not directed towards the reading necessarily, like the words that are like all the same. My attention is not brought to those first. My attention, I see the map first. I see the Apollo. I see the title here. I see the pictures. I see the photographs. I see the illustrations. Those are things that I see first. And those are all text features. So I want to make sure that I am saying, hey, this is a heading. This is a map. This is a photograph. This is a whatever it is. And so you're going to make notes as to what you see. So again, if you have access to a printer, you are going to print it from here and you're going to write on the actual piece of paper. If you do not have access to a printer, you're going to look at it on this screen, on this first one and the second one, and you're just going to write down the different text features that you see with a quick little explanation of what it is that you're looking at. So if you're looking at this down here, you're going to put photograph, and then I would just write Trojan horse after that since it's a Trojan horse. I would look at like this. This is a photograph. You used to say pillars. You can look down here, like you can even say labels, and then you can like give a couple of these things that are labeled down here. Over here, you bullet points. So again, I just want you to kind of see what you can find and then do a little description if you're not able to print this out. Okay? All right. And then after you're done doing that, whatever it is, those text features that you found, I do want you to take a picture as to what you found. If you were able to print it, you'll take a picture of the printed and show me that you were able to note different types of text features on it. If you were not able to print it, you should have written it on that separate sheet of paper, and you can take a picture of that separate sheet of paper and you can bring that to school with you. But you will need to make sure that you take a picture of the text features that you see and send that to me as well. Okay? So just to recap what you're doing, and again, you can go back and pause wherever you need to pause. But what I need from you is I need a picture of, sorry, give me a second. I need you to make sure that you send me a picture of these notes for author's purpose. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I also want a picture of your text features that you found. Either you printed it and took a picture, or on a separate sheet of paper. It could just be any random piece of paper, not necessarily this one, but like on a sheet of paper. So imagine this is a blank sheet of paper, not in a notebook. And then what I would write down is I would say title, and then I would say Apollo, photograph, Trojan horse. So I would describe that, and then I would take a picture of this as well and send it to me. Okay? So I'm looking for 2 different pictures from you to complete the activity that we did today in class. All right? And then we get back to class, what you'll do is you'll make sure that whatever those pictures that you took, you're going to bring them and we'll put them on the correct pages in your notebook. All right, that's all I have for you. Thanks.